Thank you guys again for coming. Thank you all for coming. Again, my name is Aisha Bashir, and they have honored me to be the program ambassador. And I just wanted to share some of the experiences that we've had over the last 6 weeks. I first wanted to start with we watched a fraud awareness video. And in this video, they had a clip of a woman on welfare who had been living in government assistance with her 4 children, and she had been on welfare for 12 years. And they asked her if she had any intentions of getting a job, and she said, no, why should I? Because I'm getting a check every month. So the whole clip basically was meant to teach us about fraud awareness, but one of the things that hit me was that this is the way that typically they portray welfare recipients. People that are leeches on the society, they pimp the society, they have no desire to do anything better. And that was so different than the women here in this room. But these are the women that are so opposite of what people typically, how they typically describe welfare recipients. We have one woman in this room who decided to leave her job so she could stay home with her nephew to make sure that he didn't have abandonment issues when he was with his mom. We have another woman here in the room who, while raising her daughter, stayed home and raised her and took care of her grandfather for 14 hours out of the day. That's not a lazy woman. We have another woman in this room who was making close to $75,000 a year. When the recession hit, she was out of work. We have other women here in this room who had to stop their bachelor's and their master's programs so that they could stay home and give their children the time and energy that they needed. So when I saw that video and I compared it with the women here, it didn't match at all. So what I really wanted to know was, is this how Alameda County Social Services Agency viewed its clients? And is this how it bases programs? And so I did a little bit of research, and I found that we're going to be working for one of the best counties, one of the model counties, because not only is that not how they view the participants, but they have set for themselves goals that they want initiative number 3, they want to improve their programs based on their strengths. And even when they did the RFP for the welfare to work, they want community organizations that know how to listen to their customers and engage the customers. So that's who we're going to be working for. And what I wanted to share was, they talked about strengths, building from the strengths. So I wanted to share some of the strengths that the women have gotten from this program. And it's not the typical strengths like the computer skills that everyone said they appreciated, or the training for civil service, but it's some of those types of skills that you can't really measure, that you can't put a number to. And so a couple of things that came up, one of those things was the intensity of the training that we got. It could have been easy for you all to just give us general training, but instead you really went in and you showed us how the agency was funded. We learned about Microsoft Excel, the fraud awareness, and both Emily and Andrea said that this was the training. They were surprised at how intensive it was, and that intensity showed how committed the agency was to the women. Kayla even said that she learned professionalism was something that you take with you everywhere you go. And Shamika shared that the training brought out the real her. And to me, that's really powerful, that you can be in a training and that your real self comes out because of it. One of the other things that came out was the fact that you all followed your vision with action, and that you didn't just train us, but you're trusting us to now come and work in this agency. So Maisha shared that to her, that was also a signal of commitment, that you were willing to put us in this agency, and we really appreciate that. The second strength was just an improvement of self-esteem, because I'm sure if you didn't know, walking through those doors on San Pablo, sometimes your self-esteem just takes a hit. How am I going to take care of my children? Now I have to report to people because I need help raising my family. But what the women shared here was that this program helped lift up their self-esteem. And Monisha said that she now has a confidence that not only is going to help her work going out into the work, but also when she's out in the world dealing with people every day, that there's a level of confidence she has. And even Lisa was saying how the things that she's learning about professionalism, she's already teaching that to her 7-year-old nephew, teaching him the things about good manners. And so the things that we're gaining here, we're able to take back to our families. The third thing, which I think every one of us mentioned, was the power of the group or the social network. And even though there's this idea that we're supposed to be able to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps, we know that that's not true. Like Juanita said, we all need somebody. And the power of the group. Gwen said that when she walked into this room and saw that there were other people like her, that made her feel comfortable. So that is the things about this program that can't be measured, but we want you all to know that that is what is going to make this successful. We want you to claim that as your strength. Nicole even said it was the group dynamic that she was now able to gain skills that she's not going to be able to get in the workplace. It's only in the interaction with one another. So in closing, we would just like to thank you all for seeing us for our recognizing our strengths and not interacting with us based on our circumstances. Because as Shalina said, circumstances, sometimes things that are out of our control, that's why we're on aid. It's not because we're lazy, it's those circumstances. So thank you for not interacting with us based on those. And like Janisha and Kiara said, welfare is not the end. And just because you're on welfare doesn't mean that you don't have any skills. So by creating this training, you are seeing us as assets and not liabilities, and that's something that we already know, but it's comforting to know that we're working for an agency that recognizes that too. So thank you.
Thank you. Woo! You did that.